Hello and welcome to this briefing by the Jerusalem Press Club. I am Jonathan Beck, Director of Content. On January 21st, last Tuesday, the IDF began Operation Iron Wall in Jenin, even though the military has been operating across the West Bank, including Jenin, since shortly after the war between Israel and Gaza and Hamas in Gaza began on October 7, 2023, with Hamas's cross-border infiltration and massacre. To understand how this operation differs from the IDF's West Bank operations from the beginning of the war until now, we have with us on the line Dr. Shaul Bartal, Research Associate at the Begin-Sadat Center for Strategic Studies at Bar-Ilan University, and also at Instituto de Oriento in Universidade de Lisboa in Portugal. Hello, Dr. Bartal, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, and thank you. Hello, and thank you for this opportunity to present my view.
Okay, just as by form of preamble, I would like to say unusually that this briefing is being recorded, but its YouTube will later not include the video, but just the sound. Now, I would like to ask you, how is the operation was given a name? So, can you tell us what is different now from what has happened until now, and maybe also if you would be willing to expand on the new division that is being established in the IDF along the Jordan-Israel border?
Okay, first about we have to speak about Jenin. Jenin from the period of the British Mandate already have the name of the capital of resistance. It was destroyed by the British Army during the Arab Revolt, the big Arab Revolt of 1936, 1939. And Britain already killed and destroyed lots of houses. So operation inside Jenin, it's not something unusual from that period, from the 30s. I think maybe it's not according to what we all think, but right now I don't think it's really different from other operations that already have been, like summer camps, like defendant shields in 2002 during the second Intifada, and others. Every operation we need those operations, because in every operation there are a lot of resistance groups, mostly Kataib Shuhada al-Aqsa, that belong to Fatah, and also Azadun al-Qassam, that belongs to Hamas. And the last one, and a very popular one, it's also the Islamic Jihad, that in Jenin is quite a big popularity, and a lot of people belong to this group of Islamic Jihad. What I'm saying, because of this environment, Palestinian society in Jenin, it seems that without any deeper cultural change, we have to continue to make operation every few years, operation after operation, because it seems we have to do it if we want to change it, and not to do it again and again and again. We have to find a way how we change the attitude of the Palestinian population, of their culture inside Jenin, of their resistance ideology of the population inside Jenin. This is something that we have to think about before. But right now, the army operation is very big, it's very strong. I hope a lot of the army already killed a lot of terrorists there, according to some, more than 40 terrorists have been killed, and more than 100 people have been arrested. But it's could have very limited effect, I think, for a few years, and maybe even less.
Okay, thank you for this. From everything you say, it sounds like the concept of the so-called the cycles and mowing the lawn, so to speak, of terrorism. I mean, there's a big, October 7 happened last year, and while this was, just another terror attack, so to speak, it was a massive one, and it did change the way the IDF handled Palestinian terrorism. It changed the way the IDF conducted its operations in Gaza. Does this have no effect on what is happening in Jenin today?
Listen, Jenin have been destroyed, as I told you, It's not dozens of times during the years. But if you check what happened to Jenin from the second Intifada till now, you could see that every 1 year or maybe 2 years or maybe once for 3 years, there is another operation in Jenin. The problem is that all the area of Jenin in a military viewpoint, you could see that all the area from Jenin to the south, including Nablus, including Shem, including Tulkarm and Kalkilia, it's a big area that hardly you could find you could find their Jewish villages or Jewish settlements. If you remember, Ganim Kadim was already destroyed in the disengagement in 2005, and they were the closest settlements and also army bases to Jenin. So right now, Jenin is like isolated without settlements, so much settlements around it, without so much traffic of Israel army bases and things like this. It's make them more difficult to Israel to stop the terror from Jenin, and also it's make them the terrorist organization to have a time opportunity to rebuild themselves every time again and again and again.
Okay, can you tell me regarding this Operation Iron Wall, which according to its definition is in Jenin, can you tell me about what is happening elsewhere in the West Bank? I think 2 days ago, the Hamas commander in Tulkarm was killed, and from what I've read, he was revealed when he came out to welcome terrorists released from the deal with Hamas in Gaza. So, and he was not found before that. So, can you tell me about operations elsewhere apart from Jenin?
Listen, everywhere in the West Bank, when prisoners, including especially life prisoners that belong to Hamas, visit back their villages or going back to their villages, there are a lot of demonstrations that you could see all over the website, in all over the website, in all over the West Bank also, in all the cities, including in Ramallah, in Kufr Aqeb, in Hebron, El Halil, including Tulkarm, Kalkilia, and other, you could find this. And all those people in every such demonstration of Hamas, they're Istanbul welcome the prisoner that come back from the prison, from the life prison that he had, including in Silwad. You could see a lot of, flags of Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Fatah, everywhere in the West Bank. From them, it's a kind of victory. If we get those prisoners back in these big demonstrations, we have to show our power. And the head of Hamas in Tulkarm that was killed also want to present himself in such a you could say the demonstration, and also try to present the power of Hamas in that area. And this is the way we succeeded in the end to kill this one.
Okay, thank you for this. Can you tell me, Hamas in Gaza is, decimated but not defeated. Can you tell me about the talk that perhaps there could be an October 7th style attack on West Bank communities, especially settlements? Do you think the fact you mentioned that there's no Jewish settlements near Jenin? Do you think the fact of Israeli Jewish settlements in the West Bank in other areas helps to prevent an attack in the style of October 7, or perhaps actually make it easier for Palestinian terrorists to carry out such an attack?
We have to understand that right now in the West Bank there are more than if I remember right, approximately 550,000 settlers. In most settlements, around 250 settlements, there are a lot of, security forces, including a lot of settlers of weapons and everything. And also you have to add all the army that already existed in the West Bank. So I think 7 October in the West Bank is something that it could happen, but not as a massacre like it was in the Gaza Strip, around Gaza Strip. It could be like they could try to infiltrate into one village or try to kill someone, but it will not be in the same scala of the 7 October because of all of this. Also, I think that, in the West Bank, there are two forces that operating against against Hamas and against the Islamic Jihad. The first one, although it's not very good according to Israeli viewpoint, uh, is the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority also have a lot of forces. They try also to do something in Jenin without so much success, but still they try. Still arrested Hamas terrorists because of the Palestinian interest, not just because of Israeli interest, but first of thing because of Palestinian interest and because they want stability in the West Bank. So this is one factor that we also have to understand. This is very different from the Gaza Strip. And the second is about they are in the Gaza Strip. You gave them time 17 years to build the power. Most of the time, really independent. Gaza Strip was de facto independent area without anything to prevent it. To find a weapon, to do weapon, to have a exercise, to try to think, to smuggle weapons from Iran or from other states. This is not the case in the West Bank.
Okay, now, if you don't mind, I would like, we didn't devote most of the briefing to this, but I would like to move to Gaza for a bit, to northern Gaza. I know that you follow Arabic media a lot, you speak the language, and you kind of, you live the culture, and I would like to ask you, the pictures we're seeing of thousands of people going up north on Mitzarim. I'm setting aside now the question of the security checks. These people are going back to ruined houses. So, can you tell me from a Palestinian perspective, do they see this prisoner exchange, the hostage deal, as a victory?
And what you could see,
Just
how you could describe.
let me finesse the question. I'm not talking about official Hamas making statements, declarations. The Palestinian street, so to speak, people going back from southern Gaza, the Moassi, to their ruined neighborhood in the north. Did they think, "Wow, we won the war"?
I think that the point, what is the term victory, is something we have to understand. First, in those organizations, victory that we still survived the Israeli army and we still fighting back. This is first thing. So if Hamas continue to fight against Israel, and Israel withdraw from the Gaza Strip, according to most of the Hamas media, Hamas win the war. Even so that all the Gaza area have been destroyed and all the Gaza area a lot of people died, more than 200,000 people injured or died, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry that belong to Hamas in Gaza. But there are other voices, and I think this is what you want to hear. 27% from the population of Gaza feel or say that, according to them, 7 October was Mu'amira. It was a plot against Israel, against the Palestinian people, and they think that Iran was behind the 7 October. Also, there are a lot of
Sorry,
voices.
a plot by who? A plot by Iran against the
By
Palestinians?
Iran and Hamas.
What is the logic? Or is no logic?
Hamas is a tool of Iranian regime, and they think that they suffer because of what Iran and Hamas decided over their back. And you could find it also in the media, in the Palestinian media. Also, you could find in the Palestinian media people who are asking if all of this, all the suffering, all the sufferers of the war, all the destruction of their houses, if this is okay to release, okay, you release 2,000, 3,000 people for what? For more than 50,000 people, according to Hamas, that already have been dead, and more than 150,000 already injured. And what about them? But what about those people that you sacrifice? For what? For 3,000 people that you release? People asking those questions also in Hamas, and I can tell you that even in Hamas website, there are a lot of articles that trying to explain to other people, it's in Arabic, why it's still good that why we really have this war, why this war is something enormous. And if I remember right, also there is also in the religion there is a principle called musalaha. It means that the public interest. A lot of people asking, and also clerics and ulama, religious ruling, saying we really need this war according to the Musaliha principle of our religion, of our Islam, because if we check what we get and what we suffered, on what we sacrificed, maybe it was against our public interest. Not about the crime, not about the crimes, not about anything about what they did or what Israel did, but about the interest. If the 7th October was interest of the Palestinian people or not, and there is a lot of discussion about this in the Palestinian media.
Okay, I would like to ask, I don't know if you're willing to delve into this, the specific issue that Israel agreed as part of the deal to open the junction, the Netzarim junction, and to have security checks done on vehicles, I think by a third-party company, but to not conduct searches of people going on foot. This was done with the full knowledge of the Israeli government. Do you see a security risk there with all the people going back to northern Gaza?
I think this was because security principles. I don't sure that I know the answer. I could suggest, only appreciate that they don't want to know if you have vessels with weapons, you could smuggle so much weapon also to the northern area. And right now, even all the tunnels under Gaza, most of them have been destroyed. So the only opportunity, the only way, if you want to transfer a lot of weapons from the south to the north in Gaza, you have to do it by cars. I think this is the reason, maybe.
Okay. In your assessment, as a Palestinian affairs expert, on the phone a few days ago before the briefing, you told me it might take even weeks to just months before another rocket comes flying out of the Gaza Strip towards the Gaza periphery. You mentioned, the Palestinian ethos, and do you think this is still possible? I mean, was just another big round of fighting, and we're going to be in Gaza again in a few years?
I think that every time, every minute, every year, that a lot of the population that you didn't made any deeper cultural change in the Gaza Strip. I think we should fight against Gaza year after year after year. I'm sorry that I'm not so optimistic, but this is because the Gaza population transferred to Islamization, the Islamization of the society. So all the society in the Gaza Strip made during the last year under from 2007 and even before Islamization cultural changes by the Palestinian Muslim Brotherhood branch of Hamas. And this means that according to them, jihad, sacrifice, istishhad in Arabic, this is the thing. Those are the values that people generation after generation built on. If you want to change it, you have to change the attitude and the cultural and the education of Gaza, of the population. You have to change like happened in, for instance, in Germany after the Second World War, Nazification. You know, everything against to try to readapt it or reshape the population values to something more moderate. I want that the Palestinian child would dream to be an actor or to be and not a terrorist.
So what about, finally closing down UNRWA, or at least not closing down because Israel doesn't have the power to close down, but stifling UNRWA because Israel has been aware that UNRWA is damaging also in the past wars with Gaza, etc. But it finally came to this year that it did something about it and made UNRWA unlawful, etc. Is that the beginning of the process of correction and re-education, so to speak?
I don't know if it's maybe it could be the beginning, but it depends who will replace UNRWA in the education schools and high schools and kindergarten and all these things. So this is one thing. The second is about UNRWA. UNRWA become part of the problem and not part of the solution. And because of this, Israel could not continue working with UNRWA because after you saw terrorists that belong to Hamas, but also officially working in UNRWA, you can't continue like this and say, okay, this is something else. We are not. We have to separate between United Nations between UNRWA and to other UN agencies. I think you can't do it anymore after what happened in the October 7 and after all Israel revealed in the Gaza Strip about UNRWA.
Okay, thank you for this. My last question, if you can go back to the, so to speak, redeployment of the IDF in the West Bank and emphasizing the Jordan with the border with Jordan, which I understand is sometimes a conduit for transferring weapons, even with drones and small packages thrown across the river, etc. So, can you talk about this new division that's being established there?
Yeah. Israel's longest border is with Jordan. And because of this, it means that Israel really depend about peaceful settlement with Jordan about the border. This is one thing that we have to understand. Jordan already doing her best and trying to stop smuggling, but there are a lot of things, people from a terrorist organization, including Iranian, influencing by Iran, and trying to smuggle more and more weapons to the West Bank. Those weapons, we could find it in Tulkarm, in the all of the West Bank. Because of this, the army decided and also published it that he building a new brigade, a new to hold the line with the Jordan border, more military and with more soldiers and everything to stop it, because it could be something that could make disaster and could um, um, it's not according to our security, against our security interest in the West Bank. It's against we're trying to stop smuggling arms from Iran, from the West Bank, from the Jordan to the West Bank. We are trying to do it our best, and we hope that the army, in the end, could succeed to stop it, but it's not 100%.
Okay, I understand. Thank you for this. I have one question from a reporter going back to something you said before about what country or party could create the cultural change like the like you mentioned with the Palestinians, who would be a party that both Israel and the Palestinians would trust, especially when the fight for the right to live on this land still exists?
I didn't understand exactly the question.
You said there's no potential for any change before there's a sort of denazification process that Palestinian society would go through. So what would be, for example, the mechanisms of such a process, if it could be, like, who could be a party that would be trusted by both Israel and the Palestinians to be in charge of changing the school system or whatever?
If you remember, in the Oslo period, there have been both sides agree about a committee that working together to change the education books of the Palestinian schools. So this is a good point to start. And right now, I think that we still could find anti-Semitism in some of the Palestinian book or booklet that Palestinian pupils learn in the UNRWA schools and things like this. So if we could, I could give you example for a Palestinian book. How you describe the Oslo peace agreement, the Oslo agreements, and if you could find even a picture of Arafat and Rabin in September 13 in the White House, picture of this. I could tell you that I try, I didn't find. I didn't find a book or booklet or Palestinian for many others for my school that describing the peace agreement or describing the Oslo period, that this was a kind of a peaceful solution and things like this. Could you find about the two-state solution and something good about the two-state solution in Palestinian book? People learn from this, from the first grade till the 12th grade. People learn, and they learn that Israel is something not relevant to the Middle East, something foreign to the Middle East. They stole our land and things like this. But we have to change. This is something more deeper to speak about, and I know that and everybody, and also I could present to you if you want about things that agreements between the Palestinian Authority that agreed to change it, but I still wait to change to those changes to see them.
Okay, very clear, even if not very optimistic, as you said. I appreciate very much your time with us, Dr. Bartal. And as I said, the sound recording of this briefing will unusually be made available on YouTube without the picture, as per Dr. Bartal's request. Thank you very much for your time with us. And if other reporters have questions, you're welcome to access Jews Report staff after this. I would like to thank also Ali Nawar for technically supporting this briefing and making it possible. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.